Hi everyone. So I thought I would just put on some makeup, talk about some new stuff, or things that I've been liking, things I haven't really talked about on my channel yet. I was kind of hoping to do an empties video, and that's what I'll record if I have time, but I was like, I need to get my makeup on anyway, so why don't I try to figure out something to talk about while I put my makeup on so I can get a video recorded because I have the time to record a video. You know what I'm saying? I got my hair cut, obviously. There's always for me kind of a learning curve trying to figure out how to style it again. Oh, dang it, didn't close the door. Be right back. Baby is sleeping longer than 30 minutes. I want to make sure my jibber jabbering is not going to wake him up. So I curled it like I would curl my longer hair. And I think it looks okay. It's just kind of a little extra, it's a little extra poofy right now. But I'm sure that will fall a little bit. I tried using a straightener to do the waves that somebody else recently did a video about this, but I saw Arna do it on her channel with it was part of like just a little small sponsored segment with GHD, I think. And anyway, so I tried it and it came out okay when my hair was longer. I'd be curious to try it when it's shorter, but I still think I need a new straightener. My straightener just doesn't get very hot, and I need like really high heat in order to get anything to hold at all. Also, I think all the hair that had ever been dyed is gone, and so this is all fresh, undyed hair. And when I had it in the curling iron, most of the time I just wrap it around the curling iron, but especially since it's shorter, some pieces I use the clamp. And it was like just sliding around so delightfully in the curling iron, like, oh, it's so slippery and healthy and fresh and lovely. Because I didn't feel like the lengths of my hair were super unhealthy, but there's definitely a texture difference. So I also am getting over a cold. This is like day 7 of this cold, so it's definitely leaps and bounds better than it was. Thank goodness. So I picked up a Juvia's Place palette from Ulta. I believe I used rewards points on this one, and so this is the Masquerade Mini. So they had a Masquerade. I think maybe you can still buy it, not sure. And then they came out with one that's a little bit cheaper and smaller pans. And I've had some difficulty with the Juvia's Place color schemes. It's like I liked this palette so much, the texture and everything, but I had trouble trying to figure out like what color schemes would make sense for the kind of makeup I like to do, plus like are they going to be too dark. I found with this palette, with the mattes, they're really not that dark. Like they don't go on super intense, so I can build them up and get like a mid-tone look out of it. You know, they're not super dark. And I think some of that also is just the product pictures make them look a little bit darker than they might be. I have loved the texture on these shimmers. The look they give on the eyes is freaking gorgeous. Might just stick with those. Since I'm not really thinking much here, I don't want to try to do anything fancy. And especially because I have kind of more texture, more looser eyelid skin. Sometimes like really super metallic shimmers can just really accentuate all that texture. And these, I feel like they give for a highly shimmery eyeshadow, they do a lot of kind of smooth effect on your lids. And throughout the day, I think it gets even a little bit better, like the effect that it gives. Like they wear in really nicely. I've not had issues with creasing or fading. just using that Essence eye primer is totally enough to get, like, it will look exactly the same at the end of the day as it did at the beginning. Just so, so pretty. What else was I going to talk about? I don't know. I'm totally scatterbrained right now. This is an old Urban Decay eyeliner. Probably, let me see if I can guess. Demolition? Is that what this is? Yep. Now it looks like I'm wearing eyeliner without taking up lid space. Always love that. I think I'm just gonna do foundation now. I'll try to clean up that eyeshadow maybe in a little bit. But I just wanted to get like the bulk of what's gonna go on my lids. Got my gigantic Sonia Kashuk makeup bag that I keep downstairs. I'm going to put on some of the I'm just wearing the same thing that I did in my last Get Ready With Me, which is the NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop. Because I can't stop, I won't stop, because I want to do like an actual review. So I do think I'm going to mix these two, Pale and Light Porcelain, just because I feel pale can look a little too pale. And I'd rather my face be a teensy weensy bit too dark than too light. I almost feel like sometimes if I match my my neck to my face, it just looks too light. So I'm just gonna do like a quarter of a pump, or maybe not even a quarter, like a smidge. Oh, okay. I've learned something about this foundation. If, you know, my standard approach is to dot foundation on, then blend it out with my sponge. But I have found that sometimes, like, the little dots will dry and I can never get it to blend out where I originally put it down. And I'm like going in quickly. So what I've been doing now is just tapping my sponge in, which I normally never do because I feel like you use a lot more product that way. But I'd rather that than have little unblendable dried circles on my face. I feel like this is one you have to move really, really fast with. So only do like little sections. I'm gonna try to get a like full-fledged review on this after I wear it a few more times. Fully crystallize my thoughts on the wear, the formula. So the skincare I'm wearing underneath, actually I've been liking quite a lot. I feel like a lot of foundations are sitting pretty nicely on top of it and not wearing in a weird way. So the skincare I'm using, I start out with the Clinique Dramatically Different Hydrating Jelly. I'm liking this a lot. And then for SPF, I'm wearing the La Roche-Posay Anthelios, I don't think I've ever said that word out loud before, 50 Mineral. And so this one's one of those liquidy shaker ball ones, but it does not have alcohol in it, which is good. It's kind of hard to look up reviews on that with Paula's Choice just because there are so many in that line. It's hard to figure out like which one is which. Oh my gosh, it already feels like powdery. It's crazy. So I'm gonna do concealer and then I'll do powder, which is also new. I'm just gonna mix Tarte Shape Tape and Fair with a white, because this one is too dark when I wear really fair foundations. I've also tried mixing it with the ColourPop Fair 02, which is very, very light. And I try to wear it alone, but that formula works okay on my face, but does not work well under my eyes. Oh, so this is one of the new Real Technique sponges. One thing I've noticed is that sometimes I feel like the new ones are a little bit more likely to pick up foundation when you're trying to fix something or add a little bit more. Sometimes it will just like pull it right off your face. So I'm going to put a little bit of the ColourPop Pharaoh too, just so you can see how it looks trying to blend in with this foundation combo I did. Looks like maybe it's a little bit lighter. We'll see. It might darken a little bit as it dries. I'm gonna get a little powder under there. I'm using the Cover FX Illuminating powder, which is also, I talked about it briefly in my previous Get Ready With Me, but I think I cut out a bunch of when I was talking about it. And that was the first time I had used it was just briefly when I was doing a touch-up, I think. And I have used it a lot more since, and I really like it. I think I might put a little bit of the ColourPop on this cheek as well, just to try to even things out. I think next I'm just gonna put some of that powder all over my face. Even though this is a powder finish foundation, I do feel like it doesn't get too dry when I put this Cover FX powder over, and I think it does help the wear. And doesn't make it look super matte because I'm using the Illuminating powder, which does have a good amount of sheen to it. But it's not like greasy looking at all. It's a pretty subtle shine. Like my Laura Mercier loose mineral powder definitely has way more sheen. And this might if you like really buffed it in, but that is not how I wear it. And I just end up putting this pretty much everywhere, because I don't feel like it's real drying on my dry areas. I guess I'll use my Physicians Formula Plum Rose blush. I use this really regularly. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen I wear it a lot. I don't know how much I've shown it on my channel though. I can't remember. I probably have used it in Get Ready With Me's though. And I am gonna use Great Lash. I am going old school here. I got a couple free Great Lash mascaras with an Ulta order I purchased. A few weeks ago, a month ago, and I had worn Great Lash quite a lot, maybe 5 years ago, but I hadn't worn it since really, and like, oh yeah, it's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. I had in my memory, you know, because it was one of those like back in the days before YouTube and whatnot, it was always in magazines of like, you know, a favorite of makeup artists and whatnot. And I think everybody kind of felt like once the beauty community exploded online, everybody felt like that was kind of a weird cult classic, because nobody really had that great of performance with it and whatnot. And I've been using Anastasia Dip Brow a lot lately, but I do not have the patience to try to do that on camera. So I'm just gonna go in with my my freaking L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer. Keeps every time now when I take it apart, it's like it's coming apart in all its little components instead of taking the caps off. It's so annoying. Because then I have to like take off the caps of the pieces and then put it back together. Like, come on, man. What's happening here? I raise my brows when I'm doing them because otherwise the skin is so loose, it's hard to not get them to like slide, the skin kind of slide around as I'm trying to fill them. Hot tip if you've got loose face skin. I'm almost positive I have not used this in a video. It's the Tarte Exposed highlight. Dark, yes. Sparkly, kinda. Do I want to commit to that? I don't know. With this being a really fair foundation, it's a little bit a gamble. A little bit of a gamble. Definitely, if you are super duper pale, super duper pale, and like neutral or cool, I think this definitely would look obviously dark. Let's see if I look straight ahead. Can you see a stripe? No, I don't think so. I think if I apply it lightly enough. It's very reflective. I think someone said that it had like a wet look, and that's why I wanted it. Because for a while, like anybody that said something had like a wet look to it, I was like, I gotta have it. And then I realized like people say that without it really meaning anything, or it doesn't translate the way that I'm thinking it's going to. Sometimes when the color is a little dark, once I get it on my nose, I'm like, oh, yeah. In the pan, I feel like it looks a lot more sparkly than it does on your face. So it can be a little distressing. Okay, so I'm going to use some of the, I might just use like the matte brown that I used in my crease on my lower lash line. The Burkina. I use this Cosmetics brush all the time. I feel like I've used it a lot in Get Ready With Me videos lately. So this is not really good for building up like volume. It doesn't have fibers or anything like that. And this is the e.l.f. Beautifully Bare Sheer Brow Tint, I think. I wouldn't call it super sheer. I mean, it's sheer compared to like a mascara. That's not really saying much. I may regret this. I like this color a lot, but you know, then it, I don't know. I think this is a little more of a statement than I want to be making today. I'm just going to put a small amount of this NYX Lip Liner in Natural. Nikki Tutorials used this a lot for a while. Not sure where I was going with that. Nikki Tutorials used to use this a lot. So that alone is kind of dark. And I could do like White Russian. Got this one, which is, I don't know, could we call it empty? I mean, I might go out on a limb and call this empty. That's exciting. So this will lighten it a little bit, but not as much as like the Vivid Hot Lacquer from Maybelline and Tease. And this is also not as cool toned. It's more of a pink. Alright, so that's my finished look. I need to finish. I just need to stop. I need to stop talking. Hopefully it was fun, interesting, something. I don't know. I tried to talk about some stuff that I have been wanting to talk about, but I don't know that I actually got to any of those. I was trying, but I felt very much not focused, and I really need to blow my nose. Let me know if you have any questions about the products I used, and comments, whatever. I love hearing from you guys as always. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and thank you so much for watching, taking the time out of your day. I so appreciate it. Leaving a comment, a like, all that stuff. It's awesome. So I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.